The Wild Wild West.
Actor, magician, hypnotist, escape artist, television personality. There are a lot of parts to make up Steve Crawford. Steve and his team of experienced professionals would like an opportunity to tailor a program to meet your needs.
Hey guys, welcome to Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. We're doing a little road episode. I'm in Ontario, California, recording a comedy special, but we're recording an intro for my newest special that'll come out eventually. And I met you, Steve Crawford, dude.
Great to be here.
Lifetime entertainer.
I met you. That was a crazy day we had.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was
Absolutely.
mostly you. You were doing stunts and shit.
So this guy, don't let him fool you.
The Wild Wild.
You got actually hurt.
I got hurt, a little bit injured.
Your ribs are messed up. Well, that should be nothing to you. You're a stunt. How long have you been doing stunts for?
Exactly. That's the problem. So now I'm all broken down and sore. So I did Daredevil stunts on the road for 30, 40 years. And that was for state fairs, festivals.
How'd you get into that?
You know, I was a kid. I had a childhood hobby of magic. My mother told me about the movie Houdini with Tony Curtis. And I watched this thing, and I watched him get locked in the water tank, and his appendix burst, and he dies. But something it affected me differently than it did the other people watching, and it grabbed me.
You watched the Houdini, so you saw him die in the tank, and you're like,
I did. I'm like, oh my
torch.
gosh, I want to do what this guy's doing. That is so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to die, let's die in a water tank in front of an audience. You know, we're all going to die.
True.
But didn't plan to die and didn't die. But I was lucky. I had a locksmith that lived next door. He taught me how to pick locks, and I really became a big Houdini fan.
And your stage name was Houdini, right?
As a child, I went all the way, in those days, actually all the way to college, Houdini names, you know, with somebody Eni. Everybody put an Eni. So I went with Houdini. Can you hold, my beautiful assistant is here. Would you hold the microphone? I'll show you one of the first tricks I learned. This is a quick one.
Did you ever use male? It's always women. I never like sexy boys for the assistant.
I think you got to hold it closer. Somebody told me that.
Yeah, get up there,
that was
bro.
you that told me. All right, here we go. Little dollar bill trick.
Here we go.
So a lot of kids start with this stuff, which I did
Yeah.
at the library. Picture of Barbara Bush. I don't know if you can see that. Or
Kind of looks like Barbara up
whoever it
there.
is. I always thought as a kid. Anyway, no, we fold the dollar up. In this trick, what we want to do is make it come out backwards or different or upside down. But in this case, it actually changes.
Yeah.
About $99 different. As you can see, you get a $100 bill. So money didn't really become the motivation to do it, but it kept me doing it.
You got the
career.
Philosopher's Stone. You could do alchemy. Transfer the lead into gold.
We could do that. That's true. I will say I picked up many dates as a
Thank you,
child,
Sean.
pretending to be a real wizard, and that
Yeah.
I could do real magic and read her mind, and you wouldn't believe it. Magic is a great way to meet girls. Don't let me
I wanted to ask you about that. That seems.
Absolutely.
I watched the reel of you. That was the Oklahoma. What was that? The hockey team, right?
Oh, you saw one of my sports events doing
saw
illusions.
it.
Yes.
My question is, so when you're a magician, because you're a magician, actor, stuntman, you do it all. You're a general entertainer, a real entertainer. Everyone thinks they're an entertainer now, but you're the real deal. 40 years of locking in getting locked underwater, acting.
You know, it was the funniest thing when I was growing up. I was the only entertainer that I knew,
Yeah.
and I mean, I met people who helped me in the business, but you know, I did my shows, and now I look at social media, and everybody's an entertainer. I'm like, I'm the only one on there not entertaining anymore. It seems
your
like,
blood,
but
sweat, and tears.
in the world has changed. Everybody's entertaining.
Well, here's the question. So with the magic, you're saying is a good way to meet girls. When's the first time you converted magic skills into just some? I don't know how graphic you want to get.
So often. Well, I've got one true story, and it's a no joke. There's a victims protection order on file in Oklahoma.
Hold up, bro.
So-
on you or the person?
The girl who had a fatal attraction, and it was it was this that in '81 I opened for Alice Cooper. I was his opening act. We did some illusions, and I was a good guy. Backstage, I met with the people who won the radio passes to come backstage, you know, and friendly and. The band members were sleeping with people and all that. I didn't get any of that. And one of the rules I had.
How old were you back then?
I was very young. I was 18, 19 years old.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's crazy.
But yeah, I went to my earlier gigs back in college days. I was in college when we hooked up for that. But I had been meeting girls in clubs and telling them I was psychic. So I felt bad about that. This even in high school, and would read their mind. And of course it worked. You know, they're just, we've got this connection. But I had a rule I would never go out with a girl that I met at a show. Because what they see in the show is not who you are. I mean, you're you're playing a role. You're a daredevil stunt guy with security around you. And I mean, you're playing this image, right? Or you're a funny guy in a show, whatever it is. So those people don't know you. So I broke the rule one time, and boy, it was crazy. Young lady, you can look up, it's still in the file, court case. But yeah, she tried to come on hard to me to marry me. All of a sudden, I'm like, what in the world? We just met.
You gave her one taste. She lost her mind.
And exactly. And I told her words to me were, you know what? She said, I should have killed you when I saw you at the state fair in September. I'm like, what?
Whoa.
And she grabbed the wheel of my little convertible, and it was icy out, and crashed it. And then broke in my house later, stole stuff. There were gas stoves in those days. I was a single guy, and turned on all the gas, blew out the pilot lights, and then attacked me through the back door. So everybody on our city block there went to court, and we won. And
bro,
but I learned my lesson.
How many times did you pipe her down?
One time.
Just once.
It was once.
She got to taste the amazing
what in the world?
Once.
And I just don't know. I don't know what to say about it, except, I don't think it's a good idea to commingle,
That makes sense. That's kind of smart.
Really
so you were that smart, that young, to keep it separate, because that's a good insight to know. Like, dude, this is all glitz and glam.
Yeah, it's true. And I learned the lesson.
So I really wanted to ask you about that, because doing the county fairs must have been crazy. Like, what were some of the stunts? What was like the craziest stunt you did at like a county fair?
Everybody had a favorite. And so at state fairs, primarily we did about 25 state fairs starting in September through November. West Palm Springs, Florida kicks off early February, and Shreveport, Louisiana, not my favorite fair, but that ran right into Thanksgiving. So there was a ton of fairs, and so we had ground acts, family shows, animal circus, kids circus. I did circus sideshow, illusion. So we had that going. Then I booked a secondary act, which was the Daredevil stunt. So one of those was locked upside down in the water torture cell that Houdini inspired, strapped to roller coaster tracks, and a straitjacket, had to dive out of the way right before it crashes through, from a screen.
What?
Hanging from burning rope straitjackets in the air. But there were other markets for swimming pool events. I let people, anybody with a backyard pool could hire me, bring their padlocks and chain me up to weights and throw me in the pool. And if you had $5,000, I was available to do it. And some close calls, but I made it through that.
What was a close call?
Well, there were a lot of close calls. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I don't know which was the tell first.
So here's the question.
There were some accidents.
Someone hired you at like their pool to escape, and you died in their pool. What's the deal with that?
I would sue myself. So I had a $2 million liability policy that if myself or anyone else was ever injured at one of my shows, that it would pay off. So my first step would be sue myself because I was injured at my show.
It's kind of
that was kind of my plan anyway. Get rich off the accident. But anyway.
So what were the babes like at the county fair? Because I know Alice Cooper, obviously, probably crawling, but like the county fair, what's that like?
Well, exactly. Use your imagination, and the smaller the fair, the smaller the town. Yeah, I love small town. I'm from a small town. So, but people to be honest, we joke about that, and there was a lot of flirty, horror types, I guess you could say, but there was a lot of very, very sweet people, and I mean it sincerely. My favorite guests, they came every year, just really good people, honestly.
Yeah, that's
cool.
This
community.
That's cool. Because I always wondered about that, because that's like, and you kept it to the code that whole time. You just only broke once for that one lady.
Absolutely. I think it was my fingers. I always practice with my fingers. You want to see a finger trick? You want to do something?
We're talking about the hose right now.
It's another magic trick. All right,
lovely assistant. Go ahead.
I'm going to have you lay your mic down. You got to do this one with me. All right. Would you hold this for us? So, actually, magicians, we do use our hands to exercise a little bit to get our magic going. If you do this, hold your hands like this, clasp your fingers together. Now, wiggle your first finger, wiggle your little finger. Good. You're very good, talented yourself. Okay, now separate. Now we're going to go down. Now, can you keep turning till they go all the way out? It's a little bit of a stretch. If you're watching this or try it at home, to get all the way out. Now, reverse your arms and lock them like that, except kind of hold them up high. There you go. Now, wiggle the first finger and the little and go, ah, oh. Linda Blair taught me that one, actually.
What'd you do?
Woo. Twist your arms around, right?
Oh, I couldn't do that.
I didn't either. Anyway, I tried.
You're never going to believe it, guys. This episode of Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast is brought to you by Dude Wipes. If you're still dry wiping with toilet paper, it's time to show your beehole some respect and upgrade to dude wipes. Why? Because dude wipes are wet, and extra moisture cleans away that dry that never, what dry never could. They leave no room for dingleberries and stray butt crumbs that TP might miss. Plus, they're extra large and designed for adults. Dude wipes tackle the mess without any fuss, and flushable design makes it clean up a breeze. No more endless rolls or settling for less than perfect wipes. Think about the last time you really could have used dude wipes. They're good for cleaning up cum. Dude wipes, best clean, pants down. Available on Amazon and major retailers nationwide.
You want to hear a county fair story?
Yeah, please.
You got time? Would you come back? You're so good at this. I love it. Trip with a couple of jokers and hold on, we're missing one. We're used to standing up. What kind of comedian sits down? You're like
I told you I would stand. I have no problem standing.
So I've got a story how I lost some money from a guy running a little scam, a little gambling game at a fair. And it went like this. I thought, being a magician, I'm going to win all these carnival games, right?
Yeah.
This guy had 3 cards at his game. One of those was a joker that he was using. He had a second card, and it was a joker. And then he had a third card, which was actually an ace. He said, this is the money card. Now, what you got to do is keep your eye on this ace. All right, here we go. I noticed he made a shifty move. I thought he put the ace on the bottom. When I guessed the bottom, actually, I lost my first $1. Now, then he said this. He said, look, I'm not going to mix the 3 cards. I'm going to leave them in the same sequence, the 3, and right now give you a second guess. Now, I said it was the top card, which cost me $1. I said, I knew if it wasn't the bottom, it had to be the middle. And, well, that would cost me $1. I said, okay, now you're using more than 3 cards. He said, that'll cost you $1. I said, you've taken the ace out of the game. He said, that'll cost you $1. Anyway, I owed him $5. Here's where he got me. He said, look, there's an ace. Would you hold that one?
Yep.
He said, here's a joker. He said, if you can still tell me the name of the last card, if you hadn't forgotten it and all this, you win your $5, double or nothing. You get double your money. I said it was a joker. He said I owed him $10. So I did learn, watch the games that you play at the carnivals while you're on that subject. Yeah.
Yes. Do you ever beef with any carnies? Because that seems like you ever beef with any of the carnival folks?
No. In fact, there was a little, what was the code? If you ever got in trouble with a guest, you holler out, was it Rufus? I can't remember now. It's been a while since I've been to that market, but all the carnies jump in and help you.
Really?
They do. They watch each other. They watch your back, the entertainer's back. That was one of the first things I learned. That's kind of a family.
It's kind of cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what would you do then? So if you were on the road like that and you weren't like, taking advantage of the babes, not in like a bad way, but I'm saying they're plentiful, I would imagine. Mm-hmm. What would you do? Like, you just chill all day and like do magic? Like,
you're talking about? I'm sorry. After the show?
Yeah. What would you do?
There was no break at a fair. You open up in the afternoon. You do some shows. You run them into the night, and then you go back and you're just wore out. You've been outdoors all day. Typically, a lot of indoor events. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and go back to your room and hide.
Really?
Get some rest, because you got to do it again the next day. When the fair ends on a Sunday night, you got to pack your tear down, hire help.
You're out, yeah.
Big tear down, load your trailers.
For
and
sure.
Head on down to the next one.
So what about the one thing I wanted to ask you when we started is like, what's the relationship like between a magician and a magician's assistant? That seems like it's an erotic. I don't want to keep like hammering on this, but it seems like an erotic situation. Like, how do you handle that?
Yes. It could be. It's all, you keep it in the back of your head. So, unfortunately, they never knew. They never knew my thoughts. No, I actually very respectful.
Yeah.
We'd hire dancers. We would hire people that, were there for the art and did a good job. And honestly, we became good friends.
That's cool.
I never made a move on an assistant. But there were some I certainly liked. I think they liked me, but we just left it at that.
You're a professional as hell. I guess that's how you do it for 40 years, man. Otherwise...
40 years. It was that long till I could get out of it. And I did comedy clubs in the 80s. Did I tell you about that?
No.
So I had 3 comedy club acts. And it was an agent that convinced me to do this. Keeping in mind, I'm an actor. I wanted to be a comedian, but I never really was that funny. I mean, honestly, I didn't think. But so we developed 3 acts that we booked into the comedy clubs. And one was a pickpocket comedy thing. And one was a monologue with some magic. And the third one is the reason I got out of doing comedy clubs. I had a problem with myself doing this with anybody. I went right in as a headliner. I think a comedy club, you need people to start in the beginning, an opener, a middler, and then you work your way up, and you got real talented comedians out there. But I had an act that just booked the year up like that as right off the bat, went right in as a headliner, because there was no choice but to put it there. And why it booked was the ticket sales, and it's the hypnosis show. So I became a certified clinical hypnotist.
Oh, you majored in psychology.
I was actually an acting theater major with a minor in psychology. But then I became a member of the National Guild of Hypnotists, and I went into these sessions where we learned how to hypnotize people. And I screwed them up. I messed with them. You had to work with real people, right? And tell them that their watch is gone. Well, I would really steal their watch. And then I would touch their eyes and then put my fingers here and say, you're going to feel something touch you. And then I would touch with my other hand. And I was doing magic on these people, right? And then when we came out, all the guests are sharing the stories of what happened. And the certifiers are like, what? What happened? He did what? And, even with kids, we hypnotize kids. But honestly, people are crying. They're talking about their problems. I thought I would never be a doctor. I could never be a clinical hypnotist.
At the shows, people would get hypnotized.
But in the shows,
it
was an animal. So yes, a comedian to me is not a hypnotist or vice versa. That a comedian is a comedian. And so here we are in there booked as the headliner because you got to do a lengthy show. You got to bring people up an hour, and it's got to be in that spot. And it was a very popular act. So there was a change at the end of the 80s where there were less comedy clubs. So I got in for commercial reasons again. And I like to switch things up because I get bored. Change the market some. And the clubs are going down, and so I had an opportunity to stay on. And I think I heard that Jokers was one of the clubs we were working with, wanted now their people to go with them full time or something. There were some changes going on, and I thought, you know what? There's some great comedians that I met while I was out there, and those guys, they deserve the comedy club. So
you left it alone.
So I left it. I got out of there. And,
principled man. So what were the shows? So you you would hypnotize people and steal their stuff?
So pickpocketing was actually a separate thing, but when I was referring to when we were practicing with real people and real problems, we would go into a room with them alone as part of your training to get certified as a clinical hypnotist.
Yeah.
To help you with problems. And I just couldn't resist. I'm like, oh my gosh. You tell them their watch is gone and now they don't see it. And you show them a coin and you tell them it's a different coin. And they believe it's a different coin.
How does it work?
In these tests. Well, this is all through mental program, right? You relax a person. Hypnosis works this way. You get someone in a very relaxed state of mind. They go to an alpha pattern, and now you can speak to the subconscious mind. You don't have to go to a clinical hypnotist to try some tricks at home. For example, if you're worried about remembering something tomorrow, a better word is recall because it's always in there, but you want to be able to recall. So you relax into this like you're falling asleep, right? Very relaxed. And then you look and you picture the shower curtain and tell yourself, when I see this shower curtain, this thought will pop in my mind, so you won't forget it.
Yeah.
And watch, the trick to this is, the fun thing about it is this. The next day, a year later, 20 years later, when you see the shower curtain, it will pop this trigger in this thought. And you go, wow. Then you begin to realize, oh, this stuff really works. It's not all just a show. I mean, a lot of it is a show, but that you can really do that. Or the subconscious mind is so amazing. Most of us have an internal clock in the subconscious mind. You tell yourself, I need to wake up at a certain time as you fall asleep. Watch if you don't wake up either at that time, sometimes on the minute, but usually just a little before, because you know you got to be up at that time.
Yeah.
Your brain will wake you up. So it's about relaxing and getting into the subconscious.
Got you. What was like some of the crazier things you did hypnotizing people?
In the shows? Well, making people rigid, laying them on two chairs and standing on their body. It was not a magic trick. It looked like one, but they're so rigid. And then a friend of mine, Dr. Roy Bellows, who's a hypnotist, the next thing I heard, he's in court where somebody came back later and said that they had some back injuries. And I'm like,
stand on the back?
Threw that one out. Well, you stand on the front, you put their feet on one chair and their head here, and then you walk on their body.
What?
It's a classic. It's been around.
Would you do men and women or just men?
Well, that depends on your fetish. I mean, I don't know.
I might try that tonight. I might try to jump on a lady during my hours. Jump right on her belly. It's squish her.
Hypnosis. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. They become space aliens. They, raise fun acts in the shows.
Yeah, were you ever tempted to use the hypnosis for like evil purposes? Not on women. I mean, guys, whatever. Just like tricking people, getting like a clone army going.
You know what's really weird about that is people ask you too, have you ever used your lock picking skills?
Yeah, true.
Haven't you ever been tempted to break in? No. I mean, you could take a brick and throw it through the window tomorrow if you really want to break in. It doesn't change you at all.
Yeah,
you still
exactly.
are who you are.
Yeah. Well, every locksmith knows how to kind of pick locks.
Well, sure. But they're like, well, no, I don't want to break in anywhere. You don't need to pick locks to break in somewhere if you want to break in, but we don't want to break in anywhere. You really don't change it. And hopefully the people that do take advantage of their skills, like pickpocketing. I'll admit, as a kid, we used to go down the street and take people's wallets and practice and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'm not going to steal from anybody. I got to get their money back. But we wanted to practice on strangers, and we did. I'm like, I can't do this.
How do you pickpocket? What's the?
Well, you don't have a. If you ever watch on, do you have a buckle straw with a strap on it over there? I can't see what you. Nobody got. So like, give me your hand, and so somebody got a watch on here. You grab here, and you would literally pull back.
Oh, you pop the strap.
Shank, and you squeeze it, and when you pull it away, they don't feel it. So you look for that style watch as a first choice.
Yeah.
And it was in my comedy club act. I'd bring the person up, and then I would wave it in front of their face. It's okay. I'm going to hypnotize you. You're getting sleepy, and then we'll try a post-hypnotic suggestion. The watch is looking familiar to you, and they're like, "Oh, that's my watch." So it was an inherently funny comedy act. And then I would have them tie my hands behind my back. And it's an old routine. Harry Keller, I think, the magician, invented, where you pull your hand out and back in over and over. Comedy. So I'm flashing the guy's wallet behind his back and show it, and flashing this and flashing that. So take it and then return their keys or something at the end as a finale. We had an occasion in a comedy club once, which caused a real issue. Is I added a new bit. So I walked into the audience and I grabbed the proper watch and started picking. Actually, let me go with you. Would you mind helping me? And took a different guy, but I had this guy's watch. So the finale, the new change in this act was at the end. After returning this guy's stuff, everybody laughs. I point to the guy in the audience, "Hey, don't laugh. I got yours too." And you get an extra round of applause, right? I forgot I'd taken it. It was a brand new act. It was in my pocket. And I left the place with this guy's nice watch. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got it. So I actually had to call the manager of the comedy club, and he put out an announcement, and somehow he got a call from the right guy. The guy, I was at that show and my watch disappeared. And I like, you got your watch. What? And we gave him his watch back.
That's
so
nice.
Everybody thought it was funny and quite amusing. I don't think they knew if it was part of the act or not, though.
It is nice to know if you ever need to, you could be a master thief. Obviously, you wouldn't do that, but
it's very true. Absolutely true. There's nothing, and there really is nothing, no lock that can't be opened, or there's no item you can't escape from.
Handcuffs. I know you can escape. You said. So you set the record for escaping from handcuffs?
Yes, sir. I wasn't going to mention it, but I have a world record. Well, that's boastful. So less than 2 seconds.
Came front page news as Steve broke a world record with the escape.
We're ready. I've got the stopwatch. Okay, go, Jim. Out. Whoa, yeah. Let me see these. All right. Very good. Look at the stopwatch, Steve. 1.47 seconds, and that is less than 2 seconds. Is a record. Congrats.
And I only sent you one picture of, I just want to share that. When I was stepping away from escapes, getting older, just a few years back, I started doing something unusual for law enforcement groups. I actually got a phone call from a former chief of police, and he was in Oklahoma, and he calls me and he says, "Steve, we've got a problem. People are getting out of the handcuffs. They're getting out of their jails, and they're escaping these things, and they're turning the stuff on the cops. They're leaving them for dead, or or killing them. One, we need your help." And they had a budget, so they would pay me to come in and teach them. I said, "Well, I'll teach you how to get out of things, not just to show you how easy it is to do this stuff. Once you know, is I will show you how to escape from padlocks, handcuffs, and things." With items around you, and then I'll do it after a search, and then I'll do it without touching anything, which is a matter. Well, so we went with 2 things on the cop car, and I've got some photos I can send you. A piece of wire from the windshield wiper. Sometimes I put a person up by the windshield wiper, and you take this flat piece of metal, you can shim the cuffs open right through the notches. You're not really picking the locks.
Wait, so how do you get the piece of metal again? Where is it at?
Off of a windshield wiper. So you'll see some photos. I'll send you this later today of me holding a windshield wiper out in front of a police station, and then and actually with it in front of the cops, showing them how to use that, and then a piece of metal that I found in the back seat of a spring of a car, if you could dig in to get it. But and then another one was picking padlocks with the stem from reading glasses or glasses, which is actually two pieces. You get a shim, you get a, and then there's something completely different, which is going through the shank of a padlock. So anyway, I'm doing this stuff, and we go from local police to, I was connected, put up with an organization that was with the criminal justice system, and it was called the MacGyver 101, and it was a 3-day weekend. They had a guy that was a narcotics, Federal Bureau of Narcotics there, another guy in weapons. I was the only one that was a non-officer. So I don't know if you can actually Google on YouTube. Somebody put it on there once, the handcuff escape and a prison escape.
How did you escape from the prison?
There are several ways. So I gave him one of the methods that with certain cells you can use that people would take shampoo bottle, toilet paper, remember it's things around you, and block the bolt hole. And when you slam some of the cells, it seems like it's shut. That's not I don't give away my best secrets, believe it or not. I really don't. So this is the one I gave them. Yeah. And I had cops say, we had that happen. We actually had a guy get out of the cell that way. This stuff's really going on. Yeah. And that's why I'm not afraid to share it. Yeah. I think the best, but we were shut down, and I will tell you this too. So we're doing these federal things. And I know we got to go quick probably, but you're good. I actually,
we're good.
Told them I had a second hobby, and it was sneaking into places, testing security at places. So I was trying to make this part of my business.
I always wanted to go to stores to show them how much I could steal from them, and then go, here's how I did it.
So if you really want to see this stuff, I'll send it to you. I was making this part of my business. We had some customers that I would show them how I could get through their security and get past the bomb squads. And some of these things were so easy.
You get onto a plane, you think?
That's what I was leading up through.
No, really?
Big time story. This is the story. So I've got the photographs to show. I told them, in my observation, the TSA at the airport is the absolute weakest security in the world. And I can get, and I got an arsenal of stuff through it. And I will show you, I kid you not. Started with things like metal signs from, about this large, surfboard, and finally a big metal sword, which I've got a picture of my wife's angry looking at me, and it's not a fake picture. She didn't know I did it, and I put it under my jacket. And so what was going on? There's I'm going to share this right now because I'm not supposed to share this. This is what ended my career with the law enforcement. I love this story, and I'm sharing it publicly for the first time. And it could get me in some serious trouble. I kid you not. Yeah. So here's what was going on. I said, I said, okay, first is I called it the magic trick. We'd go to the airport. I've got all this on video pictures. And you've got all these TSA standing around, right? An abundance of them watching. I want to get that number down. When I say the magic words abracadabra, a big group of them, they all leaving a skeleton crew for me to work with. And it works every time. Abracadabra. And how? This is what they were asking me at the they said, how do you do it? Is it hypnosis? No. So I would hide a bottle of water in a backpack or drop it in somebody's purse while in line. Yeah. In one of my demonstrations, I used my nephew, because he was in on it, but you can stick it in anybody. They get flagged. These extra bodies are here just for that reason. You got a bottle of water, they're going to take you off. And they're going to, so you can get these people out of there, right? Now they're over there, no harm, no foul. The lady or person gets to leave. It's just a bottle of water, right? But you get rid of them. Now, the next step was this. There's this tray, this table where you roll all your stuff around and you put your stuff in, right? And underneath, there's nothing there. It runs right up to, I guess, what's designed to be a portable x-ray machine. It's got wheels on it. There's a gap underneath this thing, right? So this is blocking the view. You got the people on the computer looking straight down. You got this guy over here telling you got to take your shoes off. You got the guy over here making sure nobody needs help. And you got people crawling all over the floor, putting shoes on the other side. So I would drop the item in the floor and kick it underneath the machine, right? And I'm snapping photos, which is illegal, I found out. I snap, and I've got a ton of these from like 20 airports. Kick it. And we were showing them on the screen, showing how I got this, that, and trying to get something done. So the MacGyver 101 team, the people I work for, they wrote a letter to the White House. I guess the criminal justice system did, and we got a nice letter, and I got a big certificate. Wonderful, all your stuff you've done. This is going to cause some changes. We want to fly you to Washington a certain month for this round table thing they do once a year.
What?
And my stuff would go right to the government. Suddenly, my sister, who lives in Hawaii at the time, gets a call. I don't know why the guy couldn't find me. And because I didn't answer my phone, and says, we need to find your brother right this minute. Where's your brother? She said, what's going on? He said, well, they're coming to arrest him and go to jail. She's like, what? She said, if you know how to get a hold of him, you must find him right now. So I'm saying, what's the matter with you guys talking about? You told me to call this number if I ever got arrested going through the airport. And you would tell, they said, well, that's the thing. We normally they work with this. We tell them you're testing it. Or we would talk to the judge and you're working for us, you're helping.
Yeah.
And he said, no, he said, the TSA are pissed. He said, these guys, they say they're going to make an example out of you.
What?
That you're guilty of several felonies. Not only did you not work you're not a lot in law enforcement.
Yeah.
That you took pictures, you manipulated officers and bragged about it out of the area and endangered lives by showing people how to do this.
Who'd you show though?
I put it all over social media.
Oh, fuck.
Everyone. And I told him I was going to do it. I said, let me tell you something. I'm not going to be part of a cover-up.
Yeah.
I said, if we show the public what's going on, they'll change it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I am not so egotistical to believe that I am the only one on earth who's going to see that and can do it.
That's pretty smart though to kick it under.
They made some major changes. So if you look at my photographs of airports, or you have a good memory, go to the airports now, and they're all a little different. You can tell they're experimenting. They've changed some things. They've got a wall they're putting now
under the thing
that runs further back, so you can't control something right up to the to kick it under. They've got a machine now to bring the carts back around that they've made. They're finding ways to complicate this thing, and I'm very thankful that happened.
Why did they arrest you? How'd you get out of that?
So they were coming. They were looking for me, and my guy, he says, "I need you to hide." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I'm dead serious." He said, "Because if you get arrested, we may not know where you are."
Yeah, it's like federal stuff too.
Yeah, he said, it's a TSA. He said, these guys are not joking here. He said, they are mad.
They're
They're
never joking. They're always fucking grumpy as
he
hell.
said, we're going to fight with them. So he came back. He said, it's been resolved. There's 3 conditions. One is we can no longer hire you. You lost the gig. No more teaching the officers. We got to end this. No more airports. No nothing. Number 2, you got to delete all your social media posts, which I did not do. I still see some pop up in memories, but somebody deleted some of them. And they said, number 3, they want to meet you in person. I'm like, why do they want to meet me in person? He goes, I don't know. They just want to see. No. I said, I'm going to do everything but that.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like a trap.
Yeah, really.
Turn yourself. I'm not an idiot. But anyway, so no, I never. They said, and that part of the condition. Not only can you not tell anybody what you did, you can't tell them why you can't do it anymore. This thing just has to go away now. Yeah, just disappear. So that's why this is the first time I've shared it. And I'm a little upset.
That's kind of annoying, man. How big was the sword you got through?
How big what?
How big was the sword that you got through?
Oh, my gosh. I should have sent you that picture. It was from the floor to here.
What'd you do with it once you got through the security?
Well, I carried it around, but it looked like this. I took it out the plane.
Did you get weird looks with the sword?
Well, the photo that I'll send you, we're at the gate where my sister is flying one place, right, from one plane, and my wife's there. My wife said, you can never do this stuff when you're with me, which I didn't typically. On this, and so I had 2 versions, right? Some of this stuff I just carried on me and tossed it down, but I usually use the jacket, okay? And I would use the jacket to kind of drop it to get whatever it was underneath.
I got you.
And then when I'm down tying my shoes, I would retain. Sometimes something got stuck under there. It wasn't the sword, but I would just crawl over there and get it because everybody's in the floor putting on shoes. This is the weakest thing I've ever seen in my life, and one of the officers even saw me once, and I said, I dropped my wallet. And it was just, underneath. I got
sword.
But the sword. So we're done through. We got it through to the gates, and that's from there on. It's really no big deal. But I'm saying goodbye to my sister, and I'm holding the sword in the photograph behind my back, and you see my wife going, and I had somebody take the picture, right, of us leaving, saying goodbye. The group, we're hugging and she's just going like, so she's still mad.
She knows you got that thing on you.
She's very upset about that. So that's a real photo. I will show you. I wanted to put it back on social media even after. It was so funny. That's when some of this was going down. And my contact, he said,
how long ago was this?
7 years
I think
before I moved here.
I don't know why in my head I feel like if a crime happened 7 years ago, you're good. So
and that was one of the reasons I left where I'm from, Oklahoma, was that to move to California. That was a reason. The fact is, I had studied acting in college and always wanted to be an actor.
I thought you were a great actor. You did great.
Thank you. I think I love doing it. It's really something I've worked on it since a kid, and I want to do it as a career. And it was one of those things where I was going to come out here right after college, but I couldn't. I got trapped in my career. Once you start booking annual stuff, now they're going to book ahead. You're booked that month this year, so they book you the next year. And next thing you know, 30, 40 years has gone by, and you're just, and so it really took COVID as well to shut everything down. And I said, I'm never looking back, to go into acting full time.
Did you get any long-term injuries from doing like stunts and stuff?
Covered with them.
Are you really?
Absolutely. Yeah, covered with them. I did an air show stunt, did an escape, and I had a bad landing.
How high up?
More than 10,000 feet. But it's not, it was an escape from a box, which was a thing where the audience thinks that they're going to. I was actually booked by a man named Etzel Ford. He has an air show team, and he came to me. He said, I know you do stunts. He said, can you do something for air shows? He said, we need a new act or something to go with us. And he said, in air shows, in most shows, you want people to think you're going to die in a stunt show, but in an air show, you want them to know you're going to die. And I said, I had the idea. What if the audience thinks they're going to die? He said, even better. So in this effect, I drop from the plane in the box, and the audience is told it's falling out of control. So they take it up in the plane, and the audience can see the chute open, and they go, Steve was open to shoot. He's carrying the box back over the drop zone. So now I'm holding this box, it looks like, till I get over in the area.
Wait, so are you
release it?
You're in the air?
I'm with a chute.
Oh, you're holding this box.
I'm holding
over.
the box, which is what it looks like, and then I release it and pull these toggles and land. Well, the truth is you can't hold a box when a chute opens in the air. So I'm wearing this harness we had made down in DeLand, Florida by a company, real nice. They make tailor-made stuff for stunts and air shows and things. And a strap attached me to the box. So I have this strap, and as I get lower, I release the box and would open my chute. So the problem is, anytime you get two lines, FAA approved stunt is safe. I was angry at them. I said, you guys weren't honest with me. Anytime you put two lines in the air, you run a risk of danger. You get a line entanglement, which is exactly what happened. The chute came out, wrapped around the strap to the box. So I've got a chute there. Not the end of the world. You got two chutes. Cut away your left one, pull in your right one, right? So now I've got this chute open with the strap in the box, which is what it's supposed to look like, but there's an additional piece there that shouldn't be there, the first chute.
Right.
So it's causing you to go like this. As I go down, you can't look down when you're lowering. Skydiving is a weird thing. You can't tell how low you are by looking down. You have to look at the horizon. So about 50 feet from the ground, looking out that way, you can tell where that is. You slow your descent normally, right? So in my act, is I cut away and then slow my descent, right? So the horizon is just doing this. I couldn't tell, and I couldn't cut it away because I didn't know who I'm going to kill. Right, this whole thing could land anywhere. So I'm trying to focus to see where I am, and that's the last thing I remember. I had a concussion. I've got the short socks, the nerd socks. You can see the scar right there on my.
Why are short socks nerd socks?
I saw you in one of your acts. Some of the audience brought that up, and you showed them your socks, and
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? It's on YouTube right
Nerd
now.
socks.
It's on right now. You're having to yell things out of the audience.
Oh yeah.
And one of the guys says something about this short socks.
Oh, it was they were saying like, black ankle socks. They were saying
So here's you can see the scar right there, right?
Damn.
I got one on both sides. But I broke my hip. I broke that ankle too, but this one got crushed and most of the internal parts came out. It took forever to heal from that one. Broke the jaw. I've got scars on my arm still from it. And so this was a long time ago. So it took forever to get well. But I had a chute opener, I'd be dead. It was just what you'd say a hard landing.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it amazes me. People in the old Army, those guys never did have opportunities. They always came down hard. I don't know how they did it.
That's crazy.
Like, commendable that they would ever put up with that. But yeah. So yeah, I had spikes through my body one time. There was guy who'd hired me before. It was a thing where I used to get chained in a chair, and we had a martial artist with a screen with spikes, and he would come running down. I'm gagged, and he would kick through this thing after a 10-second countdown, and I would roll under him basically and come out. And so this guy hires me, and he says, "Can you do this act? I'm going to have people bring stuff to the show." I'm like, "Oh, crap," I'm exhausted. And he's got a pole in the stage, like a flagpole. He goes, "We're going to wrap you around this pole instead." I'm like, "Okay." And I said, we'll do a pair of handcuffs. Give me 10 seconds to get out. And then he has people bring stuff to the show and brings it up on the stage. I'm like, "What in the world is he doing?" He's an EMC. He had hired me 10 years before.
Was it EMC?
What's that?
You said EMC?
He was the MC of the show.
Oh, MC of the show. I got you.
And the promoter. He had hired several acts. So he brought me back for this finale, and people were chaining me up. And I'm like, okay. I said, I need a full minute to escape from this. He gags my mouth, and they get the screen ready, and he says, "How many of y'all think Steve can get out of this in the 10 seconds he originally promised?" I'm like,
Whoa.
Punchline's got to be coming, right? Got to be a punchline. And everybody applauds, and he says, "Put it in place." And he stands up, and he says, 10. Now I'm like, "Are you kidding me? What?" And I'm like, sure, I didn't have a chance, right? So I just turned my back to the spikes and this thing, and I've still got here.
What the fuck, man?
Crush. And the sad thing, and I wish my brain had been in the right place to not move an inch, that the audience broke out into applause because they thought I disappeared. And instead, I start moaning and moving, and I'm stabbed, But I wish I had not done that now. I didn't realize.
Well, if you didn't move, you would have been fine.
They thought I was gone. The curtain would have shut, into the show, and everybody thought I disappeared. And then this thing starts moving. They're like, uh-oh. So anyway, I'm like, "Dude, why did you do that?" He goes, "I thought you were kidding." And he said, "Man, I've seen you a million times." He goes, "I thought you could just, it's like, and you're out. I've seen you do it."
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to have to confirm that.
Thanks
How
a
big
lot.
are the spikes?
Oh my God.
Oh,
One of them, went right by my spinal cord,
Oh,
It
dude.
got in, I'd been paralyzed.
what?
Do we have time to do another magic trick, or we don't?
I think we have time. Well, the one thing I wanted to ask you about, we have a half an hour. We're good. This episode of Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast is brought to you by Dude Wipes. Riff prompts. When you wipe, are you sitting or standing? I started out sitting today, and then I actually, I'm not lying. I got saved by Dude Wipes today. I was in the bathroom taking a dump at Shane's house, and I had, when it like clings to the side of your butt, kind of. I had a large deposit cling to my butt, and it like literally. Did you ever get it on your hand at all when you wipe? I don't want to gross you guys out. Accidentally, have you ever got it on your hand? I did it. It literally happened to me today. Like I got it just a tiny bit on my hand. I was like, "Fuck."
Well, that's the joy of the Dude Wipe, an XL wipe for an XL man.
No, it came in handy. I would have had it gone home. It was such a disaster that thank God I did that. Guys, whichever way you wipe, it's time to show your beehole some respect and upgrade to Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes tackle the mess without any fuss, and the flushable design makes cleanup a breeze. They leave no room for dingleberries or stray butt crumbs that TP might miss. Plus, they're extra large and designed for adults. So no more endless rolls or settling for less than perfect wipes. Dude Wipes, best clean, pants down. Available on Amazon and at major retailers nationwide. The one thing I wanted to ask you about, we'll definitely do some more magic. You used to be able to hold your breath for 4 minutes.
Yep.
And now you said you can't hold your breath that long anymore?
No. And nor do I know what happened. I've had, a lot of things started to change. I used to be in, very good physical shape. You might remember seeing some of the older photos.
Ripped. I saw the picture.
For an audience, and I was starting to develop some intestinal issues, the Crohn's disease, which I kind of hid and continued. Some things were going on. But, I started as a kid, holding my breath, and I was on the swim team. And they always hated it. I was horrible swimming on top of the water, so I would always dive in and go all the way to the other side.
Dude.
And as we come back, emerge, and, to finish it up. So I get in, and they're like,
Which stroke were you doing?
Oh, that was just a regular bicycle,
Oh, dude.
But they
But you would just be submerged the whole time?
Oh, the first run, all the way to the end. And when I come back, I'd come up to give them a little bit of fairness. But I was fast under that water. There was no rule of how long you stayed under, right? So if there's no really rule in the books, how long you stay. But I practiced all the time. And so, I was comfortable sitting on the bottom of a pool, shimming locks, picking locks, manipulating them open, that people would bring. And you know, honestly, you get 8 or 10 locks. You don't have to open all of them. People didn't realize that necessarily. But, you open the key locks, and but I was comfortable. And then I would spread this, pace it out. I wanted to give the audience a good show. Somebody asked me when I was coming out of one of my water effects, which I could do the lake and the box and things, all these. You mean you come out, you're exhausted, you're coughing up water, are you really suffering, or is it all an act? No, I'm really suffering, but it's all self-inflicted. I would stay down there.
You would stay as long as you can.
You stay underwater as long as you can until you absolutely can't stay under the brink and come up. You're going to be really breathing
hard.
hard.
Did you ever pass out underwater?
Actually, I did one time.
I did once too. It was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
How'd you get pulled out?
I don't know what happened. We were at Ponkin Theater in Ponk City, Oklahoma, which was supposed to be a haunted theater. And we had some weird stuff happen with the water tank, an older water tank. When they were trying to pull me up a double pulley system where I go up easy, started fighting them. They're pulling this thing. They're, we don't know what's going on, right? And we got this on video. And they kind of get me up, and it's this big A-frame. I'm hanging upside down. There's a roller thing. I mean, you got your feet in these stalks, right? And then you got this thing that runs up to the top of this. Where they pulled you up and they roll you across. They're having so much trouble. And I think, man, this thing's going to break. Something's wrong here. So the minute we got up there, I said, get me over the tank quick, because they're holding your hands. And I mean, the second I was there, it broke. The weird thing on that night, the break had nothing to do with the pulley system. It was a piece of steel that they would use for mountain climbing, right? That held the stalks in one spot. That thing just broke. It shouldn't have broken. And another place had nothing to do with the tension. So there's 2 issues, really 3, because the water was boiling after we put a little bucket heater in hours before, because it was ice cold water. Should have taken a day to heat it, but the water was like boiling hot when I almost went in it, and I'm glad I tested it. So this was like a haunted theater, and everybody's telling me all this haunted stuff's going on. I'm like, I just couldn't believe it. And then all of a sudden, everything starts going downhill for my act. So when I hit this thing, I didn't get any air, because I wasn't prepared, right?
Yeah.
So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th one, hold it, go in, and I'm good for a while, right? In this case, I was probably on the exhale, and I went down. So when the stalks came down, they couldn't get the lid on because it fell so fast. You got to hit it just right.
Yeah.
And the guys are fighting with it. And I've got a guy sitting right over here who's a spotter who does nothing but watch me. And if he sees me make a signal something's wrong, cut it.
Yeah.
I'm like, cut it. I'm looking, where is he? He's not there. First rule in Daredevil stunts is don't change anything. Don't improvise nothing. This guy left his post to run help these guys get the lid on, right? So I'm trying to get my part to get out of this thing, and I blacked out. The next thing I know, I'm in the floor. So I had fallen, but I don't know what happened. I literally don't remember.
Jesus Christ.
Very peculiar experience for sure.
Yeah, that's
very,
crazy.
very terrifying for sure.
Yeah, I was just swimming with my friends, and we were like drinking, and I think I was using my kids' goggles, so they were super tight, and they were just like cutting off like blood in my brain. And I tried to go back and forth in the pool, and I was coming back, and I remember coming out of the water just lungs full of breath. I somehow just propelled myself out, like kind of blacked out, and then I fell forward again, just hit my chin on the edge of the pool.
Water is so dangerous, and even for an escape artist, and I don't like to tell all my secrets, but I would do everything I can, I could do to make these things safe. Like chained up, thrown in a pool, is that I would have a signal, to something's wrong, and we would tell the audience, well, they'll have to jump in, pull these heavy weights all the way to the shallow end to get me out. Well, the fact is, we had a rope with a hook on it, but then I'm like suffering later, and I'm asking my guys, because could you see me? And I really couldn't see that well. The water was too chlorinated. I just couldn't see it. Or we're in a lake. I almost died in a lake. I showed you a picture of this, I think, yesterday, coming out of the lake. That was totally unexpected. Wooden box was in a lake, and I did what I had to do to open it, but the wood had sealed. And I mean, it was a tough sucker to get out of there. Once I got out, I'm exhausted, and I'm trying to work my way up. Lo and behold, we've got quicksand or something underneath the water. When I get to shallow enough to walk, it takes me down, and I'm like pulling. It's hard to get my head on, wet shoes. They're gone.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm fighting to get my feet out of this, and my guys are coming out. So the photo I've got on my phone, but they're coming out to try to help me, and then they're sinking.
Oh, fuck.
I got 5 guys, 10 guys are rescue guys, and they can't even get to me, and I'm just like, and I'm so tired. So water.
Yeah, water's dangerous.
It didn't scare me, but water didn't scare me like some things, like heights scare me.
Yeah.
But it's very dangerous. Yeah.
It is peaceful though underwater. I have little kids, and we'll go in the pool, and every now and again I'll just disappear from my whole family underwater for a good minute. And it's just the
absolutely
best. Just the fucking best. Just to go underwater. I can't hear anything for.
Yeah. And that was my life. So, circling back to a question you asked, I would sit there underwater and comfortably do my thing and enjoyed the peace and quiet until it was time to come up. But then one day it changed. I just lost that ability.
It's crazy.
So I went to a doctor and I said, we got a serious problem. I got bookings. I said, listen, I can hold my breath a lot longer than this. I can't hold my breath. I don't know why, as much as I practice. And so they even did a heart test, massaged my heart. They said, this sounds like it's a heart thing. And no, your heart's fine. And they finally said, listen, whatever weirdness it was that you were gifted with to hold your breath for 4 minutes is just gone.
Whoa.
Your body's changing.
Just time for acting.
It's time to go to become an actor. Like, I got to survive the last. So the thing that changed was I went from a comfortable performance, because it's a show, even if there's danger, even if it's tough, it's still a show, a comfortable performance to put on a good show of fighting against death, struggling, to a real fight against death where I'm going as fast as I can and suffering every minute.
Did you still keep doing them even after?
No, I didn't book any more after that. I had to. But I finished my contract. I had bookings. I had a religion about it that once the deal is made, you don't pull out. If once you sign, you're going to be there. And I don't recommend this for everybody, but it's the truth. I did a show with a broken leg once. Not that break, another one for a roller coaster. I had to go do a second show.
So how'd you break your leg on a roller coaster?
Well, that was a thing where I'm strapped to the roller coaster. I think I showed you those pictures. The straight jacket, and we put a screen up, and the roller coasters come in. I have to dive out before it comes through. And I did this a long time ago. Yeah. Way back. Spring Lake Amusement Park in Oklahoma City was the first one I did, and that was in college, way back. Some other guys have done it since then, but it was my original act. And there was a way I knew that the roller coaster was so close, right? So you don't want to jump out too early or it looks boring. So you got to wait till it gets there and then jump.
It caught your leg?
What?
The roller coaster caught your leg, you're saying?
No. I thought it was closer than it was. So it's like with flying that, you don't trust your eyes. You got to trust the instrument. So I had a way of knowing where it was that I didn't trust it. It sounded like it was there. I'm like, I don't have time to jump up and land on this platform. So I just went straight down under the tracks and dropped 15 feet.
Oh, Jesus,
broke the ankles again. My poor body. You talk about, I had a total hip replacement last November. Yeah. It got so bad I couldn't walk that year, the pain. And I'm like, no, I'm too young for a hip replacement, doctor. But that's the best surgery you can get, boy. I tell you what, I'm
really?
I can't tell. I've ever had a problem. Nice. I'm not as limber as I was, but I will say that, because you're not allowed to stretch after 6 months or something. But we live with it, and I think it was all worth it.
Nice. And the one thing I wanted to ask you about was I found this kind of fascinating. You were on, what was the TV show you were on, the cooking show, America's Worst Chef or something?
That was very recent.
Yeah.
Last year, or was it the year before? I lose track of time. I'm doing my acting thing, and there's a strike going on, and I was on a series, an Eli Roth scary series, which was still on Max, playing an exorcist, and we were going to have additional shows, and we got shut down for the strike. And I'm like, oh man, this sucks. And so I asked the union, well, what can we do? They said, well, you can do reality shows. So I am the world's worst cook. I'm really horrible. When I was single, I would throw everything in a bowl, turn on the stove high as it would go, stir it up. Didn't care what it tastes like. Throw on all the things that you need to eat in your four groups and eat them. Yeah. And but I was on the road eating out. My whole life. And then I marry a girl that was a great cook, and she doesn't allow me in the kitchen at all. Period. I made a mess when she leaves to see grandkids or something. I've rent the microwave. I've done, but anyhow, so I auditioned and got on World's Worst Cooks. I think it's pronounced that way. It is Worst Cooks in America.
World's Worst Cooks.
Season 27. And
it's great. Yeah, 27 seasons, lady, man. That's crazy.
Chef Ann Burrell, I think I'm saying it right.
Yeah.
She died here just 2 weeks ago.
That's nuts, man.
And it's just so sad. She was a great lady. Yeah. I mean, we had a lot of fun on the show. of course, she's yelling at you, and
Yeah.
we're hamming it up. The bad cooking was all real. People think I made that stuff up. We hammed up the performance a little,
For
but
sure.
it was all real. But yeah, we're really shocked, and I had a great time though, and some great memories. And sadly, she was going to take a break from the show, but she told me she wanted me to come back, and so did the producers. They occasionally do reunion shows.
Sure, yeah.
The worst of the worst, and was going to have me back because we had such a good time. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to go back. I thought, is this really the image I want with my acting?
Yeah.
But now that we lost her, I'm like, you know what? If I'd known, I'd definitely gone back quicker.
Yeah.
Very nice lady.
Yeah, it's a shame she died. I didn't realize that show had so many seasons. That's crazy.
Nor did I. I've heard it once or twice before that. I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, because like Triple D's got to be at what, like 30 seasons? Like Diners Drive-Ins has to be at least like 30-something seasons.
Yeah, it's got to be. I haven't seen that in years. Is it still on?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's actually like shot in like fucking 8K now. I think they really stepped up the production on D3.
Interesting.
But yeah, let's set some tricks, man. Let's close this thing out strong.
All right. You're on.
Here he is.
Sorry to make you wait so long.
Oh, that's okay. Happy to help.
What made me think of this when you're talking about the spikes and cutting and a little bit of rope magic today? Okay, but you're going to be my assistant.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of, I don't know if you can get this. We just stabbed my neighbor over here. Maybe you've heard of the famous trick where the rope floats up into the air. Someone climbs the rope. That'll be you.
Okay.
Disappears, and then the rope falls. Have you heard of this?
No.
The East Indian rope trick, very famous. Well, that's okay because I don't know that one, but that would have been a good trick. All right, now I really do know some weird things with rope, though. For example, have you ever wondered what happens when you take the ends off the rope? You can actually get a looper of rope when you do that. But to do the trick I want to do today, I'm going to need two ropes. They have to be exactly the same. Now, this is where you come into the trick. So, would you hand me the center of the rope? Just got to give me the middle.
Right here.
All right. Mr. Microphone, would you agree? If we cut it here, that would give us two the same length. All right. That's the spot selected. Very careful. Take the scissors. Don't cut the fingers. Just cut the rope. Grab the scissors.
I'm going to give you a nice injury.
Right there. Don't cut the mic cord either. Right? All right. But we're a little off on the length. That's okay. I'm going to have you even these out. Let me line them up straight and ask you to cut this off right here. That should do it right there.
Where you want?
Right there. I think that should make them exactly the same length. All right. Now we have two ropes. Okay, we need two ropes exactly the same length. Would you mind cutting that right there? Just give it a good cut. There we go.
Right there?
That's a way to do it. Now we have two ropes exactly the... Have you ever had something called deja vu?
Yeah.
Have you ever had something called deja vu? Have you ever had something? Yeah, you knew that. You heard that one coming, I bet. Here we go. Just say abracadabra.
Abracadabra.
All right, we're just going to start all over. Here we go. Now, to do the trick I really want to do today, we're going to need two ropes. They have to be the same length. That's where you come into the trick. Grab the middle of the rope and just lift it up. Hand it to me. Now, would you agree if we cut the rope here, we'd have two the same length? Like pretty fair. Would you grab the scissors again, cut it just like you did before? Here we go. And we're a little off on the length. Would you mind cutting it? You know what? Rather than go through all of that again, I think if we just do the trick, we can actually correct the length. So let me give you a good view. You look like a good knot, right? Hold on to the end of the rope real tight. Don't let go. Watch the knot. You can let go now. A lot of people think it's a trick knot. That is why I always like to untie it. Come here. So everybody can see that it is indeed a real knot.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Matt, would you like to put two ropes back together yourself?
Yeah.
I know you can do it. Big fan of yours. You know, I got a carpet named after you outside my door at home too. All right. I'll get the signature for you. Always been a big fan, by the way. Thank you for having me. All right,
sure,
we're going to tie the ends of that one. We'll give it a cut. And I want you to pick a rope. Do you want to use the one I just tied and cut or the rope I'm going to cut right now?
I'll take the one you're going to cut right now.
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Let me get that a cut. I always give you a chance to change your mind. Would you like to change your mind or keep the mind that you have?
Okay, I'll keep the one that
You're going to keep his mind. All right, here we go. So we're going to tie these together for you, just like that. All right. Hold it on the end. All right. So you won't be able to do the magic wave because you got a mic. So instead say the magic words.
Abracadabra.
Alakazam.
Alakazam.
Say, oh, what a great magician I am.
What a great magician.
Now, you don't have a hand, so take it in your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Pull the knot off like a real escape artist. Ah, you did it.
There you go. There we go.
Good job, man.
Oh, it's done.
You can keep that as a souvenir.
I will.
It might be worth pennies someday, right?
Yeah, how'd you even do that? That's crazy.
You did it. You did it.
True. Magic's in me.
We can do another trick if you want. I'll show you how one is done.
No, I would never reveal.
Do you want me to show you how a trick is done today?
If you want. I thought magicians get killed for that.
This is a special show. It's the secret.
True.
Podcast.
Yeah, show me the secret. Show me the secret trick.
All right. Can we take a little break and we'll
take a break.
All right, we'll be right back with the secret for the secret broadcast show. Okay. All right.
We're cutting back in. Let me know. All right, we're back. The interview portion. I think the interview portion is concluded, but now we're doing tricks.
All right.
It's a good interview. That was a great interview.
I had fun.
Thank you.
I had fun. I was talking to the microphone, but we're going to give it off in a minute. But first, a little more magic we promised. We're going to be doing some miracles right now, many as they were done thousands of years ago. Maybe you heard of this one. It's called walking on water. Thank you. No, I was about to tell you, you just got promoted. We do both of these things now. Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, he's lovely assistant and Mr. Microphone.
So beautiful. Okay. This is definitely one of the things we're not going to have a relationship with our assistant, by the way.
I don't know, man. If you put me around all those carnies, it could get kind of weird out there.
All right. So what are we going to do? Well, this is a secret podcast. So I'm going to reveal a secret today.
Oh, here we go.
Show you a magic trick. Show you how it's done. For this trick, you need a handkerchief, a scarf, and a left hand. You put the handkerchief or scarf all the way in the hand like this.
Okay.
You make something called a magic pass. We know what a pass is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go up to Mr. Microphone and go, hi. No, not doing that kind of pass. We've already established that. A magic pass. You do this. Now we have an egg, and the scarf or handkerchief has jumped into my pocket.
Yo.
Right. As promised. All right. You ready to see the secret?
Let's see the secret.
Actually, I bought it by mistake. If you ladies need some out there, this is the secret. You put that. All right. Different secret. All right. Yes, the secret to the magic trick, and this is a trick egg. It's a plastic egg laid by a very sick bird, and there's a hole in the back of the egg. Kind of a letdown when you see how these work. And you need 2 handkerchiefs to do the trick. All right, here's what you do. You hide the egg in your hand, hold both hands the same. You come out in a natural way. So whatever looks natural.
For sure.
Take the handkerchief, wave it around like this. Actually, that depends on the company that you're. You don't want to drop it either.
True.
Anyway, sorry. You're getting paid, right? That's all that matters. Okay, here we go.
He's actually really wealthy.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we could renegotiate this relationship after all. You didn't tell me that. Okay. So
he's in the top 3%, I would say, in the country.
Wow. 3% of what?
Earners.
Really? Amazing. Congratulations.
Apparently he's a huge dick. I don't want to make it weird, but
this
he's a huge
job pays
dick.
a lot. Huh?
He's got a huge dick, too.
Oh, yes.
Money, big dick.
I guess you're getting a lot of fans right now. Gosh, I didn't plug my Instagram. You guys follow me on Instagram.
Plug it.
Entertainer Steve Crawford. Entertainer. You type entertainer, I'll pop up. Why did I do that? Because I'm from Facebook country and I'm trying to get some new friends out here. So
got you.
Nice to meet you guys. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, you hide the egg in your hand. You hold both hands the same. Come out in a natural way. Take the handkerchief and you start placing it in your hand. But we know it's going where?
In the egg.
In the egg. It actually goes all the way into the egg. There we go. You make the pass, you show them the egg, and you tell everyone that the scarf or handkerchief has jumped into your pocket. Now, there's a couple of quick rules.
Why do you show them the egg? You can't show the egg.
Well, you show them that it has turned into an egg. But there's a few tips. He's got a point. First of all, don't show anybody the back side of the egg, right?
True,
That's important.
The Wild Wild West.
And make sure the handkerchief in your pocket's the same color as that one that's in the egg.
Right.
If this doesn't match that, you're not going to fool them. But what do you do if they see the back of the egg? I mean, where you guys are standing, you can see the red. Well, you don't tell them it's a handkerchief. You can tell them you cut your finger, you're painting it, chicken banged his head trying to get out. I may even be a magician, but as you probably got to feel for, I'm an honest guy. I try to be honest. So here's what I like to do. Make a real magic pass. Peel the hole off the egg like that. crack the egg so everybody can see.
Hold on a second, brother. Yo, you tricked us.
That is a real egg.
You tricked us.
One. Oh,
Sorry.
gravity's
I got
strong
you,
over
I
here.
got you, I
Sorry.
got you.
And that's what I like to do. And that's a magic secret.
You tricked us, bro. You didn't give us the secrets. That's awesome. That's a good secret. That's
I'm a magician. What do you mean? I lie a lot, you know, right? But you know it's a trick. All right.
That was pretty cool.
Thank you very much.
Hell
for
yeah.
having me.
Thank you, Steve.
Been fun.
Appreciate
Thank
you. Bye.
Goodbye.